Hi, my name is Adrian, and this is Auto Care Garage. I want to ask you something. When was the last time you actually researched the tires on your car? Not the price, not the star rating on Amazon, but the actual internal construction, the compound chemistry, the real-world failure data. Because right now, there is a very good chance you are riding on tires that a trained engineer would refuse to put on his own vehicle.
Today I am exposing 5 brands you need to avoid immediately, and 7 that will actually protect your family and your wallet. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Adrian, and this is Auto Care Garage. Why most drivers get this wrong. Here is the trap most drivers fall into, and honestly, it is not your fault. You walk into a tire shop or you open up Amazon and you see a star rating, a mileage warranty, and a price. Your brain does the math automatically. High stars plus long warranty plus reasonable price equals smart purchase. That equation feels logical. It is also almost completely wrong. Tire companies have spent decades learning exactly how to make a bad tire look good on paper. They engineer their products to pass the minimum DOT safety standards required to sell in the United States, hit a target price point, and then photograph beautifully next to words like premium, advanced, and engineered for performance. They hire marketing agencies to flood review platforms with glowing testimonials. They write warranty terms with so many exclusions buried in fine print that collecting on them becomes nearly impossible.
And here is the part that really gets under my skin. The number most drivers obsess over, tread depth rating, tells you almost nothing about whether a tire will actually survive real conditions. A tire can project 60,000 miles on paper and fail catastrophically at 22,000 because the internal belt construction is garbage, the rubber compound is mostly cheap filler, and the bonding between layers was never engineered to survive heat cycling on an American highway.
I have talked to tire engineers, independent mechanics, and everyday drivers who have been burned. I have read federal recall data going back to 1980. I have looked at what happens when you cut open a failed tire versus a surviving one. And the difference is not subtle, it is the difference between actual engineered rubber and compressed filler shaped like a tire. That is the reality hiding behind the star ratings. So let me show you exactly what I found. The 5 brands to avoid. Brand number 5, Westlake. Westlake is the kind of brand that looks almost right at first glance. The tread patterns are clearly inspired by, and in some cases nearly identical to, premium Japanese and European designs. The marketing language talks about performance engineering and value pricing. The online listings show competitive mileage warranties. And the price is low enough to feel like you found something the big brands do not want you to know about. You did not find a secret, you found a trap.
Westlake tires consistently show internal belt separation long before any reasonable mileage benchmark. Documented cases show belt separation bulges forming on all 4 tires simultaneously around 22,000 to 24,000 miles, often becoming visible as sidewall deformities that a trained mechanic can feel by pressing on the tire with a bare hand. In multiple inspections, the belts were found to be moving independently under the tread.
One engineer described it as maybe 1,000 miles from explosive highway blowout. When you cut these tires open, the construction tells the whole story. The belt bonding adhesive shows complete failure from normal heat cycling. The belt steel is already showing rust corrosion from moisture that penetrated through the degraded compound. The rubber itself tests at roughly 45% actual polymer content. The remaining 55% is cheap filler material added for bulk. At around $87 per tire, Westlake seems like salvation. But when you factor in emergency replacement at 24,000 miles plus towing, plus the fact that your other 3 tires are in identical condition, you have paid far more per mile than a quality tire would have cost up front, and you nearly died in the process. That is the real price of Westlake. Brand number 4, Accelera. Accelera is aggressively marketed toward budget-conscious buyers in the United States, and the pitch is convincing. Low price, decent-looking tread pattern, acceptable warranty terms on paper. Families stretching a tight budget look at $63 per tire and feel genuine relief. What they get in return is genuinely dangerous. And I do not use that word casually. Accelera tires show catastrophic wet weather performance failures that have been documented in controlled testing and real-world incidents. At speeds as low as 35 miles per hour in moderate rain, These tires hydroplane with essentially zero steering response. The vehicle drifts sideways. The driver has no control. At 35 miles per hour, that is not a performance complaint. That is a safety emergency at parking lot speeds.
The compound analysis explains why. Independent testing shows Accelera rubber at approximately 35% actual rubber polymer content. The remaining 65% is silica filler, carbon black, and recycled low-grade materials.
The polymer chains have almost no cross-linking, which is the molecular structure responsible for wet grip and wear resistance. An experienced tire chemist reviewing these samples described the material as not engineered rubber, but compressed garbage shaped like a tire. The wear pattern confirms the compound failure. Shoulder blocks and center blocks wear at dramatically different rates, creating a depth variation that indicates the compound is not distributing load evenly across the contact patch. Tires pulled at 19,000 miles showed shoulder blocks nearly bald, while center blocks still had substantial depth remaining. And here's the math that actually hurts. At $63 per tire, Accelera feels affordable, but you will buy 3 or 4 sets before a single set of quality tires wears out. Us add 1 wet weather incident, 1 fender bender, 1 insurance claim, 1 deductible, and the savings evaporate completely. The cheapest tire on the market is often the most expensive decision you will ever make. Brand number 3, Douglas. Douglas tires are manufactured by Goodyear exclusively for Walmart. Now, I want you to sit with that sentence for a moment. Goodyear, one of the most recognized tire names in America, makes a product they are unwilling to attach their own brand to, sells it through the world's largest retailer, and lets millions of drivers assume they are getting a reasonable product because the price seems fair and the warranty sounds adequate. Douglas tires technically survive to their warranty mileage in many cases, as that is the most generous thing I can say about them. What happens between installation and the end of that warranty period is its own kind of misery.
Beginning around 28,000 miles, Douglas tires develop severe cupping, a scalloped wear pattern where individual tread blocks deform permanently under normal load. The compound is too soft to maintain consistent road contact. The result is a vibration and noise pattern that professional tire inspectors have described as the worst cupping they have documented from any major manufacturer in decades.
By 32,000 miles, the highway noise becomes so severe that drivers describe it as a helicopter living inside their wheel wells. You are not imagining it. You are not being dramatic. The tire is physically falling apart in a way that Goodyear's engineers understood when they designed it. They built it to survive the warranty period and nothing more. The internal construction confirms this. Minimal belt layers, cheap polymer compound, bottom-tier bonding quality. The real cost of Douglas is not the $94 per tire you paid. It is the early replacement at 36,000 miles, because you simply cannot tolerate the noise any longer, plus the cost of the original set, plus the lost time and frustration. Buy quality tires once, or buy Douglas twice and spend more money total while enjoying the experience less. The choice is genuinely yours. Brand number 2, Nexen. Nexen occupies an interesting and dangerous position in the market. It is not quite budget and not quite mid-tier. The pricing suggests respectability. The warranties are long. The marketing is polished. Several automotive publications have given Nexen tires lukewarm but passable reviews, which gives the brand a veneer of legitimacy that its internal construction does not support. The core problem with Nexen is compound degradation that accelerates well beyond what the mileage warranty implies. Tires showing acceptable tread depth measurements are simultaneously developing internal structural failures, micro-cracking throughout the tread grooves, oxidative breakdown of the rubber compound, and in documented cases, belt separation that becomes visible as a subtle but detectable sidewall bulge long before the tire reaches any reasonable wear threshold. This combination is particularly dangerous because the tire looks fine from the outside while failing from the inside. A driver doing the right thing, visually checking tires regularly, sees acceptable tread and assumes everything is okay. Meanwhile, a trained engineer pressing on that same tire with a bare hand can feel the internal belt moving in ways it absolutely should not.
Independent compound analysis shows Nexen rubber degrading significantly faster than the warranty mileage suggests under normal temperature cycling conditions. The antioxidant and antioxidant additive packages, the chemistry responsible for preventing rubber breakdown from heat and environmental exposure, test well below industry standard levels. Without adequate protection against oxidation, the compound ages from the inside out, regardless of how many miles are on the tire.
Nexen is the brand that makes you feel like you made a responsible middle ground decision. Then it fails in ways that feel personal. Brand number 1, Lionheart. Lionheart is the worst tire I can tell you to avoid on this list. And the reason it ranks above the others is not just the catastrophic failure data. It is the deliberate gap between what Lionheart markets and what Lionheart delivers. These tires are aggressively marketed toward performance-conscious drivers, particularly on sedans and sport-oriented vehicles. The branding is sharp. The tread patterns look aggressive and capable. The price sits low enough to feel like a discovery. Performance, tire performance at budget tire prices. That is the implied promise. What you actually get is a tire that engineers consistently describe as dangerous at performance speeds. Lionheart tires show wet braking distances that belong in a different category than any performance designation would imply. The compound has almost no performance wet grip capability. The internal construction uses minimal belt layers with bonding quality that fails under the heat cycling generated by the driving style these tires are marketed toward. Documented failure cases show tread separation at highway speeds, sidewall failures during cornering at speeds that a genuine performance tire would handle without drama, and internal corrosion patterns that appear well before any reasonable mileage expectation. The compound analysis is damning. This is not a budget performance tire. This is a budget tire wearing performance cosmetics. And here is what makes Lionheart brand number 1 on this list. A driver who buys Westlake or Accelera usually knows they bought a budget tire and drives accordingly. A driver who buys Lionheart believes they bought a performance tire and drives accordingly. That gap between expectation and reality is exactly where accidents happen. Marketing that outpaces engineering is not just bad value. At highway speeds, it is genuinely life-threatening.
Now let's talk about what actually works. And I want to be clear, this list is not about the most expensive tires. It is about the tires where the engineering matches or exceeds the marketing. That distinction matters more than price.
Brand number 7, Falken Wild Peak. Falken does not get nearly enough credit outside of enthusiast communities, and that is honestly a shame because the Wild Peak line consistently delivers performance that embarrasses tires costing significantly more. The construction quality is immediately recognizable when you cut one open. 4 belt layers with premium bonding quality. Most budget tires use 2. The compound shows high silica content combined with heat-resistant polymers borrowed directly from Falken's Motorsports division. Antioxidant levels test roughly 40% above industry average. This is not a tire engineered to survive its warranty. This is a tire engineered for conditions worse than most drivers will ever encounter. Real-world mileage data consistently shows Wild Peak tires projecting well beyond their advertised warranty, with even wear patterns that hold up under mixed-use driving. For truck and SUV owners who split time between highway commuting and light off-road use, Falken Wild Peak sits at a price point that makes the value case almost unfair to competing brands, like racing technology at everyday pricing. That is the Wild Peak formula. Brand number 6, General Tire. Here is something most drivers do not know about General Tire. Continental owns them. The same Continental that produces some of the most technically sophisticated tires in the world, and Continental did not buy General to strip the brand for parts. They applied genuine engineering resources to it. The result is a line of tires, particularly the Grabber AT series, that delivers Continental compound knowledge at prices well below Continental branding. The tread design uses stone bumpers and self-cleaning grooves that reflect serious engineering investment. Many sizes carry the 3-peak Mountain Snowflake rating for severe snow surface. The 60,000-mile warranty on several models is not wishful marketing. The internal construction supports it. For drivers who want legitimate all-terrain capability without paying flagship all-terrain prices, General Tire is one of the best-kept secrets in the market. The badge is modest. The engineering behind it is not. Brand number 5, Cooper Discoverer.
Cooper Discoverer represents American tire engineering at its most honest, which is probably why Goodyear spent billions acquiring the brand in 2021. When your biggest competitor buys you, that is the ultimate product review. The Discoverer AT series uses construction that, when inspected internally, exceeds Goodyear's own mainstream brand standards.
5 belt layers with premium bonding throughout. The compound blends high silica content with polymer chemistry that handles both winter flexibility and summer heat resistance without compromise. Cooper's wear indicator technology shows alignment and rotation needs visually, which is practical engineering that drivers actually benefit from. Real-world mileage data shows Cooper Discoverer tires consistently projecting past their warranty mileage with even predictable wear. Owners describe them in terms you want to hear: zero noise, zero vibration, perfect wear. That is the goal. That, Cooper achieves it repeatedly and at a price point that makes the decision easy. Brand number 4, Yokohama, Geolandar. Yokohama's orange oil compound technology sounds like a marketing invention. It is not. It is a genuinely clever piece of rubber chemistry that improves molecular bonding between natural and synthetic rubber polymers, keeping the compound flexible in cold conditions while maintaining structural integrity in heat. The practical result is a tire that ages better than its price suggests it should. 6 belt layers with precision bonding that reflects Yokohama's passenger car engineering applied to truck and SUV applications. Tires inspected at substantial mileage show compound integrity that most competitors cannot match at the same point in a tire's life. Wet performance is consistently strong across independent testing. The orange oil maintains the compound's grip-relevant properties as the tire wears, which means the tire you have at 40,000 miles handles wet roads more like the tire you installed than most competing brands manage. At the Yokohama price point, that kind of longevity mathematics is hard to argue with. Brand number 3, Hankook Dynapro. Hankook is the brand that genuinely surprised me during this research. I want to be honest about that. The brand carries a reputation in some circles as a step above budget without quite reaching premium, and that reputation is outdated to the point of being misleading. Modern Hankook Dynapro construction, when cut open and examined, rivals European premium brands in belt layer count and bonding precision. 7 belt layers with bonding quality that independent engineers have compared directly to Continental. The compound uses ultra-high silica content for wet performance combined with premium synthetic polymers engineered for longevity. The additive packages, the chemistry responsible for long-term compound health, equal or exceed what you find in tires, costing 30 to 40% more per tire.
Real-world mileage data shows Dynapro tires projecting into the high 80s and low 90s in miles with consistent, even wear. The per-mile cost calculation, when you run the actual numbers, positions Hankook as one of the strongest value propositions in the truck and SUV tire market. Full stop. The brand has earned a serious reevaluation from anyone who dismissed it 5 or 10 years ago.
Brand number 2, Continental Terrain. Contact. Continental's engineering reputation is not marketing mythology. It is documented across decades of independent tire testing across multiple continents, and the Terrain Contact line applies the engineering discipline specifically to the truck and SUV segment where most American drivers actually need it. Cut a Continental Terrain Contact open, and the construction is immediately recognizable as something built without compromise. 11 belt layers with bonding that requires specialized cutting tools to penetrate during inspection. The compound uses proprietary polymer blends with additive packages that test significantly above industry standard levels for both antioxidant and antioxidant protection. This is a compound engineered to resist degradation over long time periods, not just long mileage periods. Where uniformity testing on Continental tires produces numbers that independent inspectors describe as statistically remarkable, measurement variations across dozens of points on the same tire that approach the limits of manufacturing precision. That kind of consistency in wear means the tire is doing exactly what it was designed to do, every rotation, for the life of the tire. At the Continental price point, you are paying for German engineering that genuinely justifies the cost. The per-mile math, when calculated honestly against the projected life, frequently makes Continental one of the most cost-effective decisions on this list. That is the kind of thing that sounds wrong until you actually run the numbers. Brand number 1, Michelin Defender LTX. Look, I know what some of you are thinking right now. Of course, Michelin is number 1. Everybody says Michelin. How is this useful information? And I hear that, I genuinely do. But stay with me for one moment, because the reason Michelin wins is not brand reputation. The reason Michelin wins is that when you cut the tires open after substantial mileage and put them in front of 3 independent engineers, all 3 reach the same conclusion independently. 12 belt layers, all 12 perfectly bonded with 0 separation. Construction that engineers describe as built for 200,000 miles on a tire warranted for 70,000.
The Evergrip compound is the part that genuinely impresses engineers who have seen everything. The tread grooves are actually designed to widen as the tire wears, maintaining water evacuation performance that most tires lose as tread depth decreases. The sunflower oil in the compound keeps the rubber pliable across temperature ranges that cause competing compounds to harden and lose grip.
7-year-old Michelin compound samples tested in laboratory conditions show essentially 0 measurable degradation. At $318 per tire, Michelin Defender LTX sounds expensive. Here is what it actually costs. Divided across a projected life that routinely reaches 100,000 miles or beyond in real-world owner data, Michelin costs roughly $0.01 per mile. That is cheaper per mile than 9 of the 10 best brands I have analyzed, and dramatically cheaper per mile than any tire on the avoid list when you account for early replacement, towing costs, and the occasional near-death experience on a highway that nobody budgets for. One more thing about Michelin that I think deserves its own moment. The drivers who have owned Michelin Defender LTX sets consistently report the same thing. Their mechanic points out the wear pattern during rotation and comments on how even it looks. That comment from a mechanic who sees tires every day and has no financial reason to compliment them is worth more than any star rating on any retail website. Here is what 60,000 miles of testing data, cut open inspections, compound analysis, and documented failure cases actually teach you about tires, distilled into something you can use tomorrow. The brands on the avoid list share one thing in common. They were engineered backward. The target was a price point. Everything else, as compound quality, belt construction, bonding chemistry, was trimmed until the cost hit that number. You are not buying inferior engineering by accident. You are buying the predictable result of a deliberate financial decision made by people who will never ride on these tires. The brands on the survivor list share something different. The engineering came first.
The compound was designed for a performance target. The belt construction was specified for a durability target. The price was set based on what that engineering cost to produce. In some cases, Hankook, General Tire, Falken, the result is genuinely remarkable value because the engineering is strong and the brand recognition is modest enough that you are not paying a marketing premium.
The per mile math is the framework that cuts through everything else. A Lionheart tire at $80 that fails at 18,000 miles costs you more per mile than a Michelin at $318 that lasts 100,000 miles. That sentence feels wrong the first time you read it. Run the numbers yourself and it stops feeling wrong. Here's the habit change I'm asking you to make. Before your next tire purchase, find the internal construction specs. Look for belt layer count. Ask about compound silica content. Look up the brand's federal recall history at the NHTSA database. It is public. It is free. And 5 minutes there will tell you more than 500 Amazon reviews. And if a tire shop is pushing a brand hard, ask them what they run on their own personal vehicles. That answer is always informative. I am Adrian. This is Auto Care Garage. If this video just saved you from a set of tires that would have failed before you expected, hit that subscribe button, because that is exactly what this channel exists to do. Give you the information that the tire industry profits from keeping you away from. We will see you in the next one.